The North Texas Wildlife Center has
North
stepped
Texas
up.
Wildlife Center
Our main mission is to rescue, rehab, and release native Texas wildlife. So that's animals that are sick, injured, or orphaned. That could look like a baby squirrel that falls out of a tree after a storm, an opossum that's hit by a car, or a hawk that is suffering from rodenticide poisoning, and all sorts of things in between. Our goal is to get those animals healthy, get them back to the wild where they can fulfill their ecological value. And then the other part of that is public education. Whenever people find an animal, they don't know what to do, so we can work with them so that next time they take better steps or they're more inclined to help. And then teaching people to be proactive, not reactive. So for example, if you have a chicken coop, it needs to be predator proof. And you should do that before something gets in there and gets your chickens, instead of responding whenever there's a hawk killing one of your chickens or something like that. So we can mitigate animals needing to come in by being proactive.
Throughout the year, we're caring for different numbers of animals. In the spring, when baby season starts, we get an influx, and so it'll go from just 100 or so animals up in an exponential growth until by April we might have 500 animals, and this year we had about 500 consistently from April to about the end of August, early September, when we started releasing more animals than we were getting in. In the winter, all the animals are that were born earlier in the year have been old enough to be released, and many of the animals are hibernating or gone into torpor so that they're not out getting in as much trouble. Over the winter, right now we have about 110 animals, and they will be with us until March, overwintering, because they can't be released during the cold months.
So whenever we first have an animal brought to us at the center, first they are assessed, and we identify what do they need for a treatment plan. Each animal gets an individual treatment plan. So whether that includes medication, that includes special accommodations within their enclosures. Sometimes whenever animals have head trauma and they're constantly circling, we will configure their enclosure a certain way so that to help them not circle as much. And then we treat them throughout their stay here. We make sure that they have food and water. We are always assessing them and making sure that they are healthy and ready to go. As part of that prep to go back into the wild, we are teaching them the skills that they need to survive out into the wild. So that means maybe teaching them how to forage, so sprinkling nuts and berries and mealworms throughout their enclosure, maybe hidden in some leaves and sticks so that they can learn how to forage. And then eventually they will be ready for release into the wild, and hopefully we've prepared them for a better life.
So we have about 10 shift leads that cover 3 shifts a day during the busy season, or 1 or 2 shifts during the slow season.
Then there will be 3 to 4 volunteers that come in, and so they will come in and they will start cleaning enclosures. They will do laundry, they will do dishes, maybe they will make enrichment for the opossums or the raccoons that are in our care.
We have about 65 active volunteers, some of whom come every week, some come periodically. And then we also have people who work off-site taking care of animals in their own homes.
Throughout the day, members of the general public will bring us animals that they found, so injured or orphaned wildlife.
That would be mammals like squirrels, bunnies. Opossums are technically mammals, they're marsupials, but they fit in that category. We do get skunks, we get bats, we get other rodents like voles, rats, we get armadillos, so all kinds of mammals. We're also licensed and permitted to take in birds. So we get songbirds, we get corvids, which is like crows, and grackles, those parking lot birds that everybody hears all the time. We do get doves and pigeons, and we get raptors in. And there are limits to, we can take in any raptors and do triage work for them, But if they're over a certain size, then we have a lot of peers in the general area, and we can transfer our raptors to people who have facilities that are better able to accommodate those birds' needs as they heal and they need to recuperate. We do also take in large mammals like bobcats, coyotes, and foxes, but again, those have to be turned back around to a place that has the facilities for them. And then the last thing that we do take in is reptiles and a few amphibians. Sometimes we get frogs and toads and little lizards and things like that. And it's funny because some people wouldn't think twice, and then you have people who are bringing in their little house gecko that's this big. He needs help, and we're here to help him.
The main thing that I would love for people to know about North Texas Wildlife Center is that there are humans behind this organization.
We are outside in 107-degree weather building cages and chicken coops. We are picking up 35-pound animals and triaging them. There's blood, there's poop, there's sweat, there's tears, all sorts of crazy things that people don't see that I think they think doesn't exist for us. It's also, in addition to being physically exhausting, it's emotionally taxing. There are more good days than bad days, but there are some really hard days where it's just sad and you feel defeated. But I think that people don't see that. They see the cute version of it when in reality it's actually very difficult work that we're doing here.
I would say one of the hardest emotional challenges is just seeing an animal come in that is suffering, which is something that we see all the time. Certain ones hit harder than others. And knowing that an animal is suffering is harder for me than putting it out of that suffering. Some people feel that, having to compassionately euthanize an animal would be the hardest part of the job, and it's usually not. It's harder to see that animal suffering and know that they were sitting there for 4 hours before somebody brought them in, or that the person thought that maybe they could help it and kept it for a couple days. That can be really, really difficult, knowing that an animal has been suffering, and it can actually be a relief to know that we can stop that. Some other challenges that we run into is having enough space, which thankfully we have gotten this new place. And then that brings to the next issue, which is financial challenges, because we don't get grants from the government. We're not funded by Texas Parks and Wildlife or the City of Plano or anything like that. We're completely donation funded. And so when we have our washing machine go out, we raise funds for a new washing machine, and then the dishwasher dies. It can really look like we're always begging for money, we're always asking people for another thing and another thing. And thankfully the community comes through for us because people really do care about the animals, and they understand that those things are actually crucial to the functioning of the organization.
It's transformative for the people. So that would be the people that are really stressed out when they find an animal that needs help, especially a wild animal that they've probably never encountered before.
And so if animals come into us, even if they have a terrible chance of surviving, they have 100% better chance with us than whatever chance they had out in the wild.
We as North Texas Wildlife Center are always learning. There are always things changing, and we're learning ways to improve how we function as an organization. We're learning ways to improve the care that we're able to provide for these animals. And so just being a voice for us, and thus being a voice for wildlife, I think is the best way to help the environment.
Like I mentioned, every day we come in and there's magic happening. The baby raccoon learns how to walk on his leg. The owl's wing heals and now he can fly again. The baby opossum opens his eyes for the first time, so it's transformative for the volunteers as well. And then of course for the animals. These are animals that are often underappreciated, undervalued by society. People drive by sick, injured, and orphaned animals on the side of the road all the time and don't give it a second thought. And for those little lives out there, that's all they have and it matters to them. And so we can take them from starving, from injured, sick, on the brinks of death, and transform them into a vital member of our ecosystem. So it's pretty cool.